every conversation between homeschoolers, whether they've known each other for years or they just met. Every conversation eventually becomes a conversation about book recommendations. I don't know why that is. I don't know why we do that. It's just who we are. It's part of our culture. We love books. And what's more, we love books that we can read with the entire family, from our oldest students to our youngest, something that we can all gather around, read, enjoy, and engage with. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you all the reasons why you should be reading to your children. Those videos already exist. Those resources are out there. You know the mental reasons, you know the emotional reasons, you know the relational reasons, you know the spiritual reasons. You just want the books. So let's get to it. Some of these are old favorites. They're classics for a reason because they stand the test of time. So we'll share those. And some of these are newer or maybe off the beaten path, ones you may not have considered. But all of these are favorites recommended by homeschooling families to other homeschooling families, and they're read-alouds for all of your children. We'll start with a classic, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. If you've never read aloud to your children before, this is a great place to start. It has 16 short chapters. So if you read just one chapter a day, you'll be done in just a little over 2 weeks. But I promise you, your kids will not let you do just one chapter a day. Some of them end with a cliffhanger and they won't let you stop. In any case, it's a great family read because it's great for children of younger ages. They can just enjoy the story and the adventure. And as children get older, they'll be able to understand more of the allegory, and you can have deep spiritual conversations with them all about this children's book. That's what it was designed for, and it can do that for your family. Another great introductory read aloud with your children is the Echoes series from Classical Conversations, because these actually line up with the 3 foundation cycles. So your read aloud time with your family can line up. Each week, there are short stories, folk tales, and poems that you can enjoy with your family. There are also science read-alouds with the Uncle Paul series and a read-aloud series of Roman history that you can enjoy with your kids as well. So that's an older classic read-aloud for families. A newer book that's also becoming a classic family read-aloud is A Place to Hang the Moon by Kate Albus. This is highly recommended by many families who have enjoyed this. Now, interestingly, this book also is set in a similar place and time and location as The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It also follows a set of siblings who find themselves in a new and different and scary situation. This book focuses on resiliency, on the power of reading, and on family. I think your family will really enjoy it. Okay, let's talk series, because you know what's better than finding a book you love? Finding a series that your family loves, because then they get to know the characters, they get to know the world that the author has built, and they get to see these characters in different adventures, in different situations. Sometimes you can even find a series where the characters grow with your children. If your family enjoyed reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I've got great news for you. There's more. The entire Chronicles of Narnia series is great for the whole family, but there is a right order in which to read them. I'm not going to get into the debate here, but I do have an opinion. It is the right opinion, and if you disagree, you are wrong. No, but seriously, the Chronicles of Narnia is great for your whole family because it grows with your students. As they read more books, there are different questions that you can ask, different topics that you can talk about. It gets deeper, but the great thing is that all of it points to the gospel. Another well-loved and highly recommended family series is the Penderwicks. That starts with the book, The Penderwicks. It's a series of 5 books. It follows siblings, a whole family as they grow up. And here's the best part, the dad speaks Latin. So if you've got some classically educated children at home and they're working on sibling dynamics, having adventures, making friends, dealing with parents, this is a great book. They'll be able to see themselves in it. Another highly recommended family series. This one actually is written by a Christian singer and songwriter named Andrew Peterson, written for his kids and then shared with the world. This is the Wingfeather Saga. It's a series of 4 books. The first in the series is On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. And this is a fantasy series, actually. So it is a whole world that he's built so your children can enjoy the imagination and the world building of that. It follows a set of 3 siblings. So you get to see siblings on an adventure. And it is written by a Christian author. So there are broader themes about the gospel and themes about courage and bravery and forgiveness, and so many beautiful things that you can talk about with your family through this series. If your children have never tried the fantasy genre before, this is a great one to try it with. You can also try the Wilder King trilogy by Jonathan Rogers. Now, this one is interesting because it's actually a retelling or a reimagining of a story from the Bible. See if your family can figure out which one it is. There's also the Green Ember series, which many families love. It's got rabbits. The rabbits have swords. There are many, many books, lots of adventures. It's really fun. A common concern about reading aloud is, well, my family loved reading aloud when the children were younger, but now that I have some older kids, now that I have some teenagers, it's getting harder to find things that the whole family can read. Well, the beauty of classically educating your children is that the reading material can continue to grow as your older students grow. And your younger students can be able to hear some of these things, get a preview of the things that they're going to be reading later on, and get to hear it when they're young. So there's no reason not to read aloud the things that your older students are reading. If your kids are in classical conversations, that can start in Challenge A with the Chronicles of Narnia, of course, or with books like Carry On, Mr. Bowditch. As they read that for community, you can read that aloud with all of your students, and that's something that the whole family can enjoy. A common concern that families have about reading aloud is how to keep that atmosphere as the kids start getting older. Because while all your kids are young, it's so easy to gather them all around and read the same kind of book together. But what happens when you have an older teenager and their required reading starts getting to be some longer books, some deeper books, some thicker books? How can you continue reading aloud as a family? Well, the great thing about giving your students a classical education is that all the reading is good reading. Now, not all of the reading may be necessarily appropriate yet for the younger students, but there's always something that your teenagers are reading that the entire family can gather around and read together. And that's something that you can actually do as a classical educator. As your students, for instance, in classical conversations, as they get into the challenge program, you can choose certain books from within the challenge reading to read aloud as a family so that your older student continues getting the benefit of read-alouds, and your younger students, they get the benefit of a preview of something that they're going to be reading later on. You can start that right away in Challenge A, of course, with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and other Narnia selections. You can read Carry On, Mr. Bowditch, which is a great book from the Challenge A reading list. As your student is in Challenge B and is reading the American Experience storybook, that's something that the entire family can read because these are short selections anyway. And you can all have conversations about American heroes and these men and women from our past, and the whole family can read them. And as your younger students get older, they can read it again for themselves. The Words Aptly Spoken Short Stories book from Challenge B is wonderful read aloud material for the family. In fact, I've had 2 Challenge B students already, and even the second time, the younger students asked if I could read the stories aloud. They'll have their own time in Challenge B where they'll read the stories, and by the time my youngest one is in it, he'll have read these stories multiple times, and these are all family favorites. A classic work that has stood the test of time and has been read aloud by families for generations and generations is The Pilgrim's Progress. Our upper challenge students read that in classical conversations, and you can continue to read it aloud over and over again with your family, talking about these themes. All right, that concludes our list of favorite books for family reading. Remember, this is not an exhaustive list by any means, but these are simply the books that Classical Conversations homeschooling families have recommended year after year, time after time, and have said, these are really our family's favorites and our kids really enjoyed this. You may find something on this list that you may not have thought about or you may not have heard of, so hope your family enjoys it. You may also have something that your family has really loved and enjoyed and wasn't included in this video. If that's the case, drop it in the comments so that everyone can benefit from your recommendation. Have a great time reading with your families.